98FM. The sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Weekdays from 10 a.m.
With Adrian Kennedy.
Do you believe that every Irish citizen has a right to have a roof over their head, regardless of their financial circumstances? The United Nations wants to make housing a constitutional right in Ireland. And according to today's news, the United Nations has backed calls to make housing a constitutional right. A spokesperson for the UN delivered a report on adequate housing and said that it's a good starting point to tackle the country's housing and homeless crisis by either constitutionalise the right to housing or, failing that, legislate the right to housing. Now, this comes as homeless figures hit 9,000 last month. You don't need me to tell you this, how bad of an issue homelessness is in Ireland. There are people who don't have a roof over their head. However, when it comes to suggesting that a house should be a constitutional right in Ireland, people get up in arms about it and it divides opinion. I want to read just two comments on our Facebook page that were posted this morning regarding this subject. Yes, says this person, just give everyone a free house and the country can all stop working. How great would that be? Then another comment, housing is a human right. Not everyone has the same start in life or the same ability to earn enough to buy a house. It should be human right and law to give someone a roof over their head. It's only fair. So there you have both sides of the argument. I'd love to hear from you. Call us 6797 981 or text or WhatsApp us on 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98 is the text or WhatsApp number. It's a very simple question I'm asking. Do you agree with the United Nations and what they are saying, that we need to have it written into a constitution that every Irish citizen has a right to a roof over their head? As I said, on one hand, you have people saying, oh, well, why should someone be given a house for nothing? I have to work for my house. I had to, work 40 hours a week. My wife has to work 40 hours a week. We struggled to get a mortgage. We struggled to get a loan. Why should someone be just given a house for nothing? On the other hand, it could be argued that, as that text said, not everybody has the same start in life. You think of someone who has a very low-paid job. Okay, fairly low-paid job. Is never going to be able to get a mortgage. Can't afford to rent. Is on a housing list for years and years and years. Surely they have a right under a constitution to have their own roof over their own head. Is it right that we have families living in hotels, children living in hotel rooms? This is fundamentally wrong. Text or WhatsApp 087 798 98 98 or call us on 6797 981. Let me just read it. And this attitude really, really annoys me. Text coming in here. Oh yeah, give lazy layabouts who do nothing all day a house and a roof over their head. What example is that setting, Jeremy? Shame on you and the rest of the people who are suggesting this. I hope that it never lands on your doorstep. That's all I can say. Stephen, you're on 98FM. How are you?
Good morning, Jeremy. How's things?
Good morning. Now, what do you want to say about this?
I do recognise that we have a problem, okay, but I think the government definitely needs to do more on getting people into houses. But to give them away for nothing is just going to bring the country to a halt. So who'll go to work?
Well, obviously people will always work, Stephen. There are people who will always work and there are people who will never have a good enough job that they can afford a house.
Yeah, and the government needs to help people out. I truly believe that if you're in a rented situation, okay, and you're renting for 3 or 4 years, and you haven't missed a payment with your landlord and you've been a good tenant, the government should offer you a home automatically. That should be automatic straight away.
Okay, that's fair enough, yeah.
So we help out people that need it, but you don't give it. Why would you give a house to somebody that can afford a house? I don't understand that.
Well, no, surely if somebody can afford a house, they would have a house. Have you a mortgage?
So what you're saying is the people who can afford it, as usual, have to pay for everything, and the ones who do nothing will get it for nothing.
Yeah, but Stephen, not everybody is as fortunate as you. You have a mortgage, is that right?
I have my own home. Yeah.
Yeah, you own your own home. Just one home, or do you have more than one?
property in Spain, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. So you've two more...
I've worked hard for it. I've done 60 hours a week for the last 20 years, Jeremy.
I know, but you've two more houses than your man down the road has. But the point I'm trying to make is, Stephen, you remember how difficult it was to get a mortgage, I'm sure, and that you needed to save up a lot of money. Not everybody is in the situation that you're in, Stephen.
Okay, so that's why we have social housing. So why isn't the right people being given social housing? So explain to me, who would get the houses? Just people who can't afford them?
But I presume it's anybody, yes, anybody that is in a situation. Like, they're not
right, well then I'll give up my job tomorrow, and then I'll say I can't afford my houses. You'll have to pay for me.
But why
why
would you do that, Stephen? Why would you do that?
Because I can, Jeremy. And that's what happens. People can do it. You shouldn't do it, but people do it.
Okay, so if there's a situation where there's a man and a woman, they have 4 children together, neither of them are working, or he has a very low paid job and they can't afford a roof over their head, you'd say get a better job.
No, I didn't say that. I said those type of people should be helped. I said it's the people who are doing nothing, sitting on their arses all day, getting everything handed to them. And the people that work 12 hours a day get nothing. They're even talking about taking away children's allowance now. For people that go out and work and give it to the people that do nothing. Well,
no. They, in fairness, they've gone back on that. Stay there for a second, please, Stephen. 6797 981 is our telephone number. Text or WhatsApp us 0877 98 98 98. Do you believe that every single Irish person should have a constitutional right? Let me go to Peter. Peter, you're on 98FM. How are you?
How's it going, Jeremy?
Grant, you're annoyed at some of the points that Stephen made. Is that right?
Yeah, with this issue, you're gonna get the left basically texting and ringing in saying, yeah, they should be entitled, and the right ringing and texting in saying, no, they shouldn't be. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps and earn it like I did. But this type of issue should unite everybody, because the left basically voted yeah in the last referendum and the right voted no. If the right were really pro-life and wanted to protect children, they should be outraged that there's at least 3,000 children basically staying in slum conditions in hotels and not having proper dinners and stuff like that. So where are they on this issue? They go back to the right-wing point of, no, pull yourself, I earned my things. Like the chap with the house in Spain, no, fair play to him, man, you have a house in Ireland and Spain. He literally must have worked his arse off.
Yes, he did. You worked 60 hours. You say you worked 60 hours a week, Stephen, for that house in Spain as well.
That's right, Adrian. Oh, Jeremy, sorry, but listen, the only constitution right you're giving people here is to be lazy. And that's basically it. Like, let's be honest here. Now, hold on, just a second there now, let me make the point. Now, if you were working for somebody, right, and your house is being paid for, and you wake up on Monday morning and you don't feel like going to work, are you actually going to get out of that bed because you've no worries about paying your mortgage or anything like that? I don't think so. The country will come to a standstill.
See, that's extreme, man. How's it going to come to a standstill? So, if Tom and Mary have a child and they unfortunately haven't got enough money to buy their own house, but the two of them are working 40-hour weeks, that's basically modern poverty. You're working 40-hour weeks, two people working 40-hour weeks still can't afford their rent. So you're saying if they build up enough savings that they shouldn't be entitled and shouldn't be helped?
I don't know.
Hang on, one at a time.
What I said was, and if you were listening at the start, I said people who can't afford homes should be helped. People who can afford them, are they going to get free homes?
So what are we supposed to do then? People who can't afford homes and people who are going to be lazy, just let them be on the streets and let them rot on the streets, and like more than likely then they're going to have various...
If you want to rot on the streets, that's your business.
Then they're going to have high crime. Then you're going to put people in prison. You put somebody in prison for 5 years, you might as well have bought them a house.
Okay, but the point he's making, and we all know people like this, Peter. We all know people who just won't work, who refuse to work, who have no aspirations to work.
But you're always going to have a percentage of every population, even in the highest employment and all that stuff. You're always going to have that percentage. Now, if you want to live in a democracy, in a society that's socially conscious, and we look after the poorest of the poor, well, that's what taxes are actually for. We're supposed to tax the rich and help everybody, so everybody has an equal playing field. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me put this text to you. Let me put this text to you, Peter. Why are people on low income, and this is a separate issue, but it's a fair point, why are people on low income having 4 and 5 children? Myself and my husband have full-time jobs, and we can't afford that many children.
That's another right-wing argument. People are having babies. Again, in Northern, it used to be a regular thing. People have 5 and 6.
No, but hang on, no, Peter. No, hang on, Peter. This is where hang on, Peter. This is where I get annoyed now, Peter. Okay, and it's not a right wing. This is not a right wing argument. That is a fair point to make. Myself, and my missus have one child at the moment. Okay.
I have 2 kids myself.
No, yeah. So we've one at the moment. I'd love 3 or 4. Yeah. But I know, and I have an okay job. She has an okay job. Between us, we bring in okay money. But I know financially that I could not afford to have 3 children or 4 children, and we're even trying.
Look at people who have 3 and 4 children. And like I agree with you. People who can't afford, like I have 2 kids and I couldn't afford a 3rd child. I agree with you. People shouldn't be having 5 and 6 kids. But again, that's just always the way. It's mostly people, I'm going to say, in the lower class who end up having more kids. And then people in the higher class are like, well, I can't afford. But you're bringing your child up with a good life, with a good education. You have no financial woes to your child. Whereas these people, you look at them and they're living week to week for the social.
No, I don't agree with you, Peter. I think that's a misnomer. The suggestion that working class families that have 5 and 6 kids, they're not getting a great life. These kids get the best of everything. You see these photographs on Facebook pages at Christmas time, and these kids have everything. Their house is full of toys.
What you don't see there is all the people getting the Provident loans and the credit union loans. Do you know what I mean? Like, alright, people can pretend, people in working class and lower class areas can pretend to be rich and have the best of gear and the best of stuff, but the house is still falling down around them. Like, you might be spending all that money. I agree with you, people shouldn't be having 5 kids and living off the scratch and then you're getting all this stuff for Christmas. Like, what are you doing with that money? We all work, I work as well, do you know what I mean? I couldn't afford another child. If I had another child, it means that your kids are going to have less stuff because the money that we only have. Yes,
absolutely. So in other words, Peter, what you're doing is, and this is slightly off issue again, but what you're doing is it's called responsible family planning. In other words, you're trying to work out, can I afford to have more children and keep the lifestyle which I'm used to? And your answer is no. Your answer is no. Stay there for a second, both of you. Let me go to Irene. Irene, how are you? You're on 98FM.
Morning, Jeremy. How are you?
Not too bad.
Good. Now, my point is, there was always a waiting list, for the corporation or county council. Let's forget social housing, corporation or county council housing. What aggravates me is that there's people on that waiting list 15 years. Like, forget about the wasters and all that. They should get priority. Should get priority. But what bugs me is all the people who've lost their homes, who's gone into that situation. Do you know what I mean, Jeremy? And they're working people, and they can't get a home. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, but you look at the situation of people who've lost their homes or have had their homes who've had their homes taken off them by the banks. Okay, and being evicted. In a lot of cases, and I've heard these stories. In a lot of cases, Irene, these people didn't even make contact with their banks. They didn't ring up the banks and say, "I'm in financial difficulty."
It's a very small minority.
They made no Irene, they made no correspondence with the banks and said to the banks, "Listen."
Okay, some of them probably didn't. I agree with you. But my point is that there's working class people on a housing list. They're on minimum wage. You cannot get a loan off a bank on minimum wage to buy a house, right? Now, I do agree 100% with you that people should be on the list, not people coming and skipping them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd like to know, for example, do you agree with this statement, Jeremy? Listening to a programme the other day, a lady doctor, and she was doing the figures for the homeless, right? And she said there's 34% non-nationals are homeless. We have to set up a committee to make sure they're in our houses. Well, what's wrong with our people? Why isn't there a committee set up for our people?
Well, I mean, that
annoys me.
No, it doesn't. It shouldn't annoy you, Irene. Regardless of the homeless person is a homeless person, regardless of their nationality.
No, I'm talking about people that's non-national in the company. They're staying in them refuge centres, wherever they are. And
yes.
She said, we don't want the non-nationals to be put into a hub situation. So I think they should get housed. There should be a committee formed to get these housed. Now, I live in a private estate like yourself, and I can tell you there's 6 families here from Poland, and they're here 6 years, and they all have a house rent and the council's paying for. So this is what annoys me. Look after our own people first. Don't get me wrong. A housing list for everyone, not just for one sector of the community. Housing list, the way it was done years ago with your parents, my parents, our grandparents. You know what I mean? That's what's wrong. They're trying to push up all these agendas. What's wrong is a person should be on the list. When your time comes, you get 2 offers of a house. That's the way it was done. You know what I mean? And that's what they need to do. And the government made a statement there this year to build 7,000 local authority housing last year. They were found out they built 700 for this population. You can't do that, Jeremy, and not have proper housing for decent people. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, it's not sustainable. Stay there for a second, please, Irene. Let me go to Jason. Jason, you're on 98FM. How are you?
Morning, Jeremy.
Good morning. What do you want to say about this?
Well, I can't believe what I'm hearing now. Some people, I wouldn't mind giving the house to them for the nationals. At least they want to work. Most of them in them refugee centres want to actually do something with their lives. They came here to work, but our government won't let them.
Yes, they came here. They came here for a better life.
And they're prepared to work. It's the working poor that I want to help out. As Stephen said, the fella who's paid his rent, who's working 50, 60 hours a week, we get nothing. We don't get rent allowance, we don't get medical card, we pay for everything, our schooling, our kids' exams. I mean, you can't take anything else out of it to give to these grounders. But that's what they are. You go into these housing estates, Jeremy, and you'll see them, and don't sit on the fence with this, you'll see them driving up and down to collect their money in their brand new bloody cars.
Is that actually true, Jason?
Yeah, come here. I could bring you around, okay? I'm a long time working in Dublin, and we could bring you into certain estates, and you'll see nice Audis and Beamers sitting in driveways. I can't afford it, and I work. You know, there's 3 and 4 kids in the house, and the fella's living there Monday to Friday or Saturday and Sunday. It's all a scam. They're all pulling it.
So these people don't need social housing. You believe they're
It's not that they need to kick up the arse and get out to work. That's what they need. We're giving them too much. I mean, you give somebody something for nothing, they keep coming back, and the more you give them, the more they want. We have a country now of entitled people. They think they want it here, they want it now, they want it yesterday. And the government are afraid to say anything, because then they'd be classed as this, that, and and people just will not speak up anymore. People are afraid now.
Okay, so you would be completely against making housing a constitutional right in Ireland, because you believe you believe that a house is not a right. It's something you should work hard for.
It's something you should work hard for. The government have a right to look after you and provide a roof over your head. Yeah, and they are. Look at these people living in hotel rooms. They've no plans of getting out until they get the house they want.
Well, Irene.
Hang on, can I answer that gentleman there, please?
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, you're calling everybody like wasters. They're not. There is a minority of wasters. No, excuse me. You could not make that assumption. Excuse me. There always will be wasters. There always has been wasters. And to me, that annoys me too. They shouldn't get priority. Totally agree with you. 100%. Totally agree with you. My argument is that there's decent people that work that cannot afford to buy housing. There's also decent people, hold on please, there's also, excuse me sir, there's also people in high rents that are outlandish, right? And they can't get a mortgage. You have to live in the real world here. Yes, there's scum, and I totally agree with you. They should not be given any priority. Totally agree with you. That's why I agree that there should be a listing like we had 30 years ago, 40 years ago in this country.
Things have changed.
Get your point.
Since 40 years ago.
You have to, and I will agree with Jason to this point, Irene. Hang on a second. Irene, hang on a second. Hang on a second. There is a huge sense of entitlement in Ireland that swept in over the last 10, 15 years. A huge sense of entitlement. Gimme. I want. I don't want to do anything for it.
There is an element of that. Totally agree with you, and I don't agree with that. Totally agree with you about having so many children that you can afford. I don't know myself and my children at home, to buy a house. I went through all that. My point still stands that you have to look after people who are genuinely on the housing list. Not these scumbags that you're talking about.
But how do we differentiate? Because according to Jason,
no.
But according to Jason, they're all driving brand new cars.
I tell Jason they must be doing drugs. Whatever he's talking about, because that's who's driving cars.
Go up to certain areas in Dublin now.
I know the certain areas you're speaking of.
Honestly,
I am telling you, it must be drug
shops, and I tell you how I know. Look, I've delivered into shops in these areas. I've delivered different products into them, and I'd be there in the morning time. I'd be there at 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock when they're dropping the kids to school. They're in their bleeding bloody pyjamas. The kids are jumping out. They're running in and getting their stuff off the deli counter. Okay, you see them.
And these people are not working and they're driving new cars.
Come here, they're pulling up in 131 and 151 bloody cars. Well, I don't know where they're getting the money from. They're saying they're living on their own, but we all know, go up at 6 o'clock in the morning, you'll see the wife van leaving the driveway and heading out with the estate. And then you'll see her popping off down to the post office to collect a few quid. Now, you don't live in a cloud, Jeremy, okay? And I know you have to sit on the fence and you have to be careful.
I don't.
I'll tell it as it is, Jeremy.
Sorry, I don't have to sit. I don't have to sit on the fence at all. I'm after.
You have to be careful what you say. I could meet you and bring you any tour estate to certain estates, and you could even name them, and I'll show you them. And the government know what's happening, the social welfare know what's happening, but they're all afraid to say anything because what happens when they catch them? They can't cut their money. Because they'll just go down then to the relieving office or whatever you call that.
Yes,
but check there. It's a lifestyle. It's a job.
Yeah, that's for a certain amount of people. I totally agree with your statement there. That's for a certain amount of people. And the government has funded these people generation after generation, which is wrong. Totally agree with you 100%. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yep. I can hear you, yes.
100%. I agree with that gentleman 100%. But that could be 10% of people. That could be 20% of people. You cannot tar all the people with the one brush. My parents worked hard all their life. Working class people. Your parents worked hard all their life. Working class people.
I'm not talking about them.
Okay, stay there for a second, both of you. Let me go to Daniel. Daniel, you're on 98FM. How are you?
How are you, Jeremy? Sorry.
Graham, what do you want to say about
this? Yeah, I want to say to your man Jason there, right? He's talking about, look, we all know there's people playing the system, right?
Yes.
We all know that. And this isn't about, the topic I thought was everybody having a constitutional right to a roof over their heads, right? And not have to be homeless and living in hotels and stuff like that. These people he's talking about that are playing the system, they're already in houses. They're already housed. Do you know what I mean?
But he also claimed that these people who are, and I don't even like using the expression these people, but the people who are staying in hotels, Jason, you did say that they've no aspirations to get out of the hotel.
Now, Jeremy, sorry for going across you.
Okay, go on.
Off air, Jeremy, I can tell you, I have a family member in a certain trade, and he deals with the council, okay? And there's a certain family living in this country, and they've been offered more houses, and she's refusing. He works, and she sits in a hotel with her 6 kids. All right, and they are refusing until they get the house in the estate they want, and they're 2 years at it now.
And so, Jason, do you honestly believe that a woman with 6 children staying in a hotel room wants to be there?
It's not what I believe; it's what I know. It's genuinely what I know. My family member even told me how much he's getting off the council for this hotel room. He said he couldn't sell it privately that way. It'd be cheaper to buy them a house and stick them in it. What they've got in the last 2 years off the council. Honestly, I'm not lying. Off air, I can put you in touch with this fella.
Okay, well, I'd love to talk to him. Come back in there, Daniel. Sorry.
Yeah, they should be told this is what you're getting. We're no longer paying for a hotel for you. Your kids deserve some dignity and have a home. They obviously don't care about their kids that much, that they're leaving them in a hotel. Before my son's mother, right, our house burned down, right, and she got put in a hotel. She was in it for a year. It was depressing. It was absolutely depressing. She was in it, and it was a nice hotel. You're only talking about a 4-star hotel, and everyone would think, oh, sure, you're in a 4-star hotel. You should be delighted. Not at all. She wanted to be able to cook for her kids and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, her kids going to school and coming back into a hotel. It was demoralising. It was horrible. She couldn't wait to get over it. There are
could have been housed straight away.
Yeah, and there are people that are playing the system, and they don't deserve to be even put in a hotel. The kids should be taken off them. You're stuck in a hotel for 2 years. You should be looking out for your kids. Take the first home you get, for your kids' sake. But this isn't the issue that we're talking about here. We're talking about everybody having a bit of dignity. I go out and work every day. I mean, yeah, I do see people playing the system, but there are a lot of people that are not playing the system. So they shouldn't be punished for the ones that are playing the system. But that's why I do agree with the topic that, yeah, a constitutional right should be for everyone to have a home, a free home, but not to not pay for it. They should be made to pay for it.
Let me stay there for a second. I want to read out a text to both of you from, I think it's from Suzanne, actually it is. Yeah, the constitutional right to a home will be for everyone, and it is not for free. It provides a more equal society, and if we applied best practice such as solidarity housing that Denmark uses, Ireland would be a much more equal and diverse society. In other words, it's for people. Everybody has would you not agree, Jason, that everybody has a right to have a roof over their head?
Everybody has the right to get out to work. The government has given us the tools to make our money. I mean, they've given us good education. They've given us half-decent health. So we all have the same start. It's what we do in it. I could bring you into them housing estates and show you youngsters that never done drugs and never get into trouble.
Okay, Jason,
and I mean, right now, there's certain people out there that just don't want to do anything for themselves. You don't.
Well, Jason, we had a fella on the show yesterday. I don't know if he was employed or... Well, no, he didn't have a job, actually. We had a fella on yesterday.
The fella on the quad?
Yeah, the 30-year-old fella who was on a quad bike.
I wonder how many kids he has.
Well, I don't know. And
exactly.
He's not here
that's what we're up against.
No, he's not here to defend himself. But what I'm saying is he's 30 years of age, and he said he can't get a job because he's done time in prison. Now, I don't believe that.
Me either, Jeremy. Me either, because I'm working, okay? And a long time ago I got into trouble, okay? And I'm working. And I'm from that area that he's from.
So you have a criminal record, do you?
I do. It's over 20 years. It's 20 years ago. It was before I hit my 24th birthday, but between 18 and 21 I was in a bit of trouble, yeah. And I did do a bit of time. I got back out and I got back working. I've been working now since I'm 22. Like, and you know yourself, I've done it. So I don't believe in that. These fellas that tell that, it's just an excuse. I don't want, I can't. Yes, you can. Anybody can.
Okay, stay there for a second. Let me go to one or two last calls. If you want to get a very quick comment in on this, text or WhatsApp 0877 98 98 98. Robbie, you're on 98FM. How are you?
Not bad, Jeremy. How are you keeping?
Good. What do you want to say about this?
I mean, like, as I was saying to your assistant there, like, I mean, we're kind of taking each section and kind of generalising each section where you have to take it as a whole, you know? I agree completely on the points where there are people out there who are milking the system. Like, let's not be silly about that. There are. But the genuine thing is that people out there need houses. But I mean, we all came from the likes of the corporation estates and the Crummins, the Limericks, you know, Coolocks, Cabra, you know, Ballymun, Tala, Limerick, Cork. And I mean, the way that worked out is people were able to buy the houses at the time. I think the government are reneging on the responsibilities as a government, especially the Ministry of Housing. They need to start building houses and make the local authorities become landlords again. They need to start building houses. That's the solution. I mean, everybody's turning around and pointing fingers at one section here. The false nationalism of the foreigners are getting everything. A lot of them foreigners are now nationals, you know?
Yes, absolutely. In fairness, I hate to hear that argument. The foreigners get everything. A lot of the foreigners are coming over here and they're working in full-time jobs.
Absolutely. It's an easy finger to point.
Yeah.
And also the point of is not everybody who's in a hotel room or not everybody who's on the housing list are a waster. You know,
but stay there for a second. Sorry for cutting across you because I want to go to one last call who is on the housing list. Sharon, you're very welcome along to the show. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Now, it says on my screen, this can't be right. It says that you have a friend who's on the housing list for 37 years.
Yes.
37?
Yes.
How's that even possible?
Because she is a very close family friend and because she had a job, she was a spinster, she had no children. And she is living in what you would call a little flat. Like the size of her kitchen is basically fits under the stairs. And she is in
so it's like student digs, sort of. That's what it is.
37 years.
37 years.
She is now retired. And I think it's time, because she's after paying her tax and in her job over 40 years, that she should get a little one-bed council flat, and that's what we're trying to apply for now.
And this accommodation that sorry, what age is this woman again?
68.
She's 68. Is this in an apartment block, or what is it? What are we talking about?
It's a house that has been, it's like a big house that has been transformed into 3 flats.
Yeah, like bed sits. Okay,
like bed sits. It's exactly like a bed sit.
And what are
there 37 years.
37 years. And what, you've obviously been to this place.
Absolutely.
Is it substandard accommodation?
Yes. And look, she's very easygoing and she's been very happy there. But now she's 68. She's got young people. You know, she's seen more families and couples and people living above her, sharing the same front door. There's a business beside her that uses her back garden for smoking breaks. She has absolutely no privacy.
And this is a woman who worked most of her life. She paid her taxes.
Yes, absolutely.
And why is she so far down the list?
Sure, she's not on top of the list. She's no children. She's got a job. The council would have made an absolute mint offer because her wages would have been, they probably would have got maybe 100, 150 euros a week rent offer. But because she had a not a bad paying job, and because she had no kids, and she wasn't married, she was just put down the list all the way.
I'd love to talk to that woman. Maybe we'll talk to her some other day on the show, Sharon, and find out exactly how she's putting up with that. That seems bizarre. I've never heard of someone being on a housing list for 37 years, and if that's how we're treating a woman of that age who is in her what did you say? She's in her late 60s, is she?
68.
68, yeah.
She's now an old age pensioner, and now what we're doing now is we're going to reapply to the council to, you know, because like she's getting more nervous as she's getting older, and you've young couples and people using the front door. She can hear them upstairs in the flats above her.
No, it's just wrong. It's wrong. It's morally wrong. Yeah, it really is. That could be your mother. That could be your grandmother. That woman.
98FM, the sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks, weekdays from 10 a.m.
With